When it comes to pre-release Rocket League, many people picture a scene like this. But this is the 2015 beta. To really see what this game was like at the beginning, we have to go back another whole year to the spring of 2014, and a version of Rocket League that has a lot less info and footage available. This is the exclusive teaser trailer for a closed alpha Psyonix released to a select few veterans of their original car soccer game, Supersonic Acrobatic Rocket-Powered Battle Cars. No doubt you've already spotted some key differences with the Rocket League game you play now, and even the beta. In this video, I will be doing a full breakdown of what the alpha of Rocket League was actually like, highlighting changes that shaped the game, things the alpha had that Rocket League wouldn't add until years later, and even showcasing some features that have never been implemented. I think we have to start with the most obvious thing first: the red. Red vs. Blue was a direct carryover from SARP Battle Cars, but that game had a lot more muted colors. Of course, by the time we got to beta, the devs had changed red to orange. With Rocket League having a lot of grass fields, this was likely done to counter the most common form of color blindness. Also, orange and blue are complementary opposites on the color wheel. While there were things that changed significantly after alpha testing was complete, like the color red, some adjustments were actually made between alpha builds. For example, the earliest public version of the alpha had green boost pads. According to Psyonix senior technical artist Adam Beckwith, they started with green because they thought newer players might assume the traditionally colored boosts belonged to the red team. But in the end, they decided it wasn't a big deal, and by late March, the alpha had switched to the yellow-orange boosts we all know. The bright green ball indicator line also was changed at that time, reduced to the same barely visible, pretty much useless line that still exists in the game today. Another important change during alpha was the arena geometry. Early in testing, people complained about the play dying in the corners, and Psyonix's internal data showed that games were often low scoring due to the fact that the ball was getting slowed down or trapped. Thus, in May 2014, they implemented the now classic Rocket League 45-degree corner design, which not only reduced the trapped ball scenario, but also was very helpful in getting the ball back towards the center to create more scoring opportunities. Another interesting visual effect was tires catching fire whenever you would drive on a wall. Now, I'm not sure what the lore or reasoning was behind this. Like, is it supposed to be your car that releases the fire, heating up the wheels to allow them to stick? But then, the color of the fire is not team-specific. Instead, it changes depending on what side of the field you're on. And I don't think it's realistic to expect a blue player to also carry around red fire fuel. Regardless, the fire effect did not make it out of alpha. There's a few other unique features of the alpha version of DFH Stadium that you might not have noticed yet. For example, the word alpha printed in the grass in front of the diagonal kickoff spawns. Or perhaps this weird line of cars alongside the field. Now, I did ask Adam Beckwith about this one, and he told me it was meant to be a player's bench, as they originally planned to have cars drive onto the field from the bench before the game started. Honestly, after exploring the aesthetics and visual features found in footage from the alpha, I have to say that I think it would be an awesome throwback to have the Alpha Arena variant in the game today, complete with red versus blue, green boost pads, fire wheels on the walls, and maybe, for some extra chaos, those old school corners. During the 5 months of alpha testing, the game went through several physics iterations, and an ongoing controversy with veterans of the original game. While at times, watching alpha, it seems like hard hits on the ball is easier than it is in Rocket League right now, when it's compared to the physics of SARP, alpha was actually seen as slow and heavy. With supersonic acrobatic rocket-powered battle cars, full field shots were almost automatic, requiring little momentum and resulting in ping-pong or boomer ball-like gameplay. Whereas with Rocket League, the devs were making the deliberate choice to slow the game down a bit and encourage more control and team plays. In the Psyonix forums, a few players had some pretty direct feedback about this.
After long testing and comparing RL with SARP, I'm gonna be honest and say that I am not going to buy the game. It's already boring for me, way too slow. No power shots and just boring.
Pesci was one of the first pro players and would go on to play professional Rocket League until 2022.
The game risks not having the longevity SARP had for 5 years. It just needs physics closer to SARP 1. I really enjoy the new features, but I hate that ball.
Cuxer had a 10-year pro career, won a world championship, and currently still coaches professionally. Now, I'm not saying this type of feedback was not useful. After all, the physics did change throughout the alpha, likely based on both player experiences and in-game data. Also, there were things like corner geometry that were directly driven by player complaints about the gameplay. Despite any issues they had with the physics, SARP veterans were good at Rocket League pretty much from the start, pulling off aerials and dribbles, while using their well-trained game sense to make passing plays, bumps, and fakes. I even found this great clip of a 100-mile-per-hour team pinch, which I would confidently guess is the fastest no-mutator goal to be scored during alpha. Complaints about the physics ruining the game's chance at success, or claims that powerful, SARP-like shots were not possible in Rocket League, would eventually be proven wrong, though some of the skills and techniques needed to perform hard shots and technical plays would not be fully developed until after release. Now, most of the stats and point scoring plays are the same as what we ended up with at launch, with the exception of the bullet hit and the bullet goal. Bullet hits were awarded anytime you hit the ball while supersonic, which it turns out happens a lot, even in alpha. So it kind of makes sense that they removed this point giving stat before launch. But I think the bullet goal should have stayed. We already have extra points for long goals, turtle goals, backwards goals, and bicycle goals. Why remove a stat or reward for fast goals? One unique thing the alpha had in regard to stats is the summary found under the scoreboard at the end of the game, showing what plays and points you have achieved. This detailed breakdown is something that has been requested by the community for a long time, and yet here it is in the alpha of 2014. While we're looking at these, you'll notice that at this time, they didn't have all the stat icons finalized. For example, clear ball was a dotted outline because it's clear. Get it? Also, a backwards goal was indicated by spelling goal backwards. For the final gameplay feature of this section, we have the demolition, which did not appear in the post-game summary, nor were awarded any points. But there was something unique about them. After getting demoed in alpha, the camera automatically follows the opponent that took you out. Not really what I'd consider a useful function, unless you really needed to know who took you out, so you could hunt them down. Regardless, this camera feature was in the game right up until the end of beta. For being in alpha, I would say that Rocket League's customization features were surprisingly well developed. There were two ways to get items. The first was just through random drops that happened during the game, seemingly triggered by an event or specific play. This would actually cause a distracting pop-up on the screen, and the items were even visible on the scoreboard to both your teammates and opponents. Now, sometimes these drops were actual cosmetic items, but more often they were crafting materials, which brings us to the second method of gaining items. Yes, Rocket League had crafting. By combining sheet metal, sprockets, and fusion cores, you could craft a random item of a specific type and rarity. Also, you could go the other way and salvage a cosmetic to break it down into crafting parts. By the end of the alpha, there were 5 car bodies available, all of which made it to launch, though they were called by different names than we use now. Tires and rims were separate cosmetics that could be mixed and matched how you liked. There was 2 different rocket engines. A front attachment allowed you to equip a bow tie or a mustache, while the hood had a few ornament options available. Besides those items, the rest of the garage features were pretty similar to what we had at launch, including rocket trails, skins, antennas, and hats. Interestingly, alpha invites were also shown as physical items. At this time, players knew there would be rewards for participating in and bringing people to the alpha, but they didn't actually know what the rewards would be. But of course, those eventually became a hat, wheels, and boost, with the nugget flag serving as the beta reward. I'm going to finish off this video with a collection of interesting facts and stories I found during my research into the alpha that didn't really fit into a category. So sit back and enjoy a little bit of Rocket League useless information, alpha style. The very first aerial goal in the Rocket League alpha was most likely scored by a player named Feisham, just a few minutes after the servers went live. Seeing someone pull off a shot like this with less than 5 minutes of playtime really shows the advantage SARP players had at the beginning, despite many of them hating the new physics. And while it is neat to see their skilled play, I also enjoyed watching footage from people that were brand new and learning about the game during the alpha. Here is one of my favorite observations from the commentary of a player named Ponto just 3 minutes into his Rocket League career.
So I'm not sure what kind of replay value this game has, or if eventually you get guns. Crap. Oh, you can die. So there's that. Did not know that.
In case you missed it, he said, "I'm not sure what kind of replay value this game has, or if eventually you get guns or not," and then promptly got demoed by a bot. Fortunately, even without guns, Rocket League had decent replay value, so nothing to worry about there, Ponto. In a post to the Rocket League subreddit in March 2014, a user named Brotastic gave his thoughts on the alpha and made some suggestions, one of which has become a key feature of the game down to this day. He wrote, "I think it would be very useful to be able to make bindings of certain words or phrases. Nice shot, center it, my bad, I got it, etc. So in the middle of a game, instead of typing out something, you can just press the D-pad hotkey and quickly communicate with your teammates." As you can see, Psyonix CEO Dave Hadgwood thought this was a great idea, and the rest is history. During alpha, the devs would regularly be found playing the game with other testers, and had their own special Psyonix decals for their cars. While there likely were many bugs and glitches during alpha, I didn't have much luck finding footage of them. But a YouTuber named Famster was kind enough to help me out and share this example where a large boost pad refused to respawn, even after goals. Mutators were a part of alpha testing. I found this Reddit post announcing the introduction of Cube Ball in March 2014. The cube they used was modeled to look like a child's wooden block. But the only footage I was able to find of this in action was a short clip in a Feisham montage. I hope you enjoyed exploring the Rocket League alpha with me. This is a video I've wanted to make for a long time, and I hope it can serve as a nice time capsule of what the game was actually like in the very beginning. If you want to see more content like this, be sure to subscribe and check out my other videos linked here.